on this video and visiting my channel. In this video, I wanted to detail what my experience was like being a US teacher and moving to the UAE. If you are moving out there to teach, this video will help prepare you for what it's like to teach in Dubai. So thank you to those who have watched the first video of how to teach in Dubai and in the UAE and overseas and all that good stuff, and you came over to this video to watch the parallel of US education to UAE education. So I'm gonna do that for you. Let's first talk about, let me find my page. If you are moving to teach in Dubai, you are not going to an Arabic school. Yes, the UAE is an Arabic country, but you are not only going to be teaching with Arabic teachers. There's going to be a multitude of different ethnicities and cultures in that one school. So when you get your job, and especially if you're teaching in Dubai, you need to understand that you are not going to an all Arabic school. Most of the students will be, well, it depends on where you're teaching too. It depends on where you're teaching. Some schools in the UAE, they have a high population of locals, and then some have a low population of locals. My school was more Arabic students. And what I'm trying to say is that you are going to probably go into a school that has many different ethnicities, many different cultures in that one school. I worked with South Africans, Egyptians, Arabs, Filipinos, and I mention that because this is another question I get asked a lot, because I know that it's hard for other ethnicities like African countries to come to the UAE. I don't know why. I don't know what you need to do to get a job if you are not American. I'm just speaking on my experience and who I worked with. Now, if I answer that question for someone and you're like, no, I don't want to work with blah, 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 stay where you at. Don't bring that energy anywhere. Leave it where you are, okay? Because that's not the kind of attitude that you need to have when you are leaving the US and moving to the UAE. Because I will tell you, some people did not like me because I was American. Some people love me because I was American. I don't deal with stereotypes. I don't like them. I'm not here to define your stereotypes, but I will tell you who I worked with. So you're probably going to be in a school with many different teachers and many different backgrounds and trainings and cultures and ethnicities, and all of that can be overwhelming. So that's why I'm telling you, prepare yourself. I worked with Arabic, South African, Egyptian, Filipino teachers. Yeah, read up on some different cultures. A question that I think that you should ask your school. What curriculum do you follow? Has the pacing guide been made? Or do you follow a pacing guide? Because, oh, I'm just getting off topic. I have so much to tell y'all. Has the pacing guide been made? And when I talk on pacing guides, this was my first time teaching from a textbook. I taught 6th grade history, no textbook, standards-based instruction. Then I moved to 3rd grade ELA, no textbook, standard-based instruction, daily 5. So this year was really hard for me, especially because my school had a pacing guide, and it was a very strict pacing guide. And when I needed more time, it was kind of like, no, you need to catch up. Your kids need to catch up. And I was kind of like, well, we need to reteach this. How can I individualize instruction? I had a really hard time with that. Just finding the time to get in there, you know? But what worked for me was that I communicated with parents, and I was like, hey, if you do this book at home, we will have more time to differentiate the instruction and individualize and do some one-on-one work. And that's what helped. I don't know if that was okay. I didn't really ask, because at that point I was kind of just like, I need to work for my students and this ain't working. So prepare yourself for that. Ask, does your school have a pacing guide? Is it mandatory that I strictly follow it? Am I able to reteach? Things like that, yeah, because that would have helped me. Yeah, so yeah. I taught at a private school. A lot of you are asking me if I taught at a private or public school. There are a lot of private schools in the UAE. So yeah, I taught at a private school. Oh, another question that you should probably ask your school is, when did the school open? How long has the school been open? They have that year to prepare for the ministry to come and evaluate their school and their academics and everything that they have going on. They have the year to prepare for that. So ask the school, how long have you been open? You can look online at the school's reports, and I will link that somewhere in the description box on where to find your school's reviews. Also, Edtopia, I believe, education is something I'll link to. It's too big. I keep saying and I just cannot. There are two sites that the UAE uses heavily to review schools and to allow the community to read the reviews of the school. So I will link those down below. You need to read those. They're important. Okay, it tells you everything that you need to know about what your school is good at and what they lack. And what they lack is not necessarily a bad thing, okay? It just means, it just helps you prepare what you can bring to that school. And asking how long it's been open lets you know if they have procedures in place, which was another big deal for me. Because if I would have known, yeah, you need to have some procedures in place, or bring them with you. Bring some ideas of what procedures you can put into place, okay? Ask about a Sped department. Ask about a Sped department. Are you fully staffed? What does your Sped department offer? In the UAE, identifying mental abilities and mental disabilities is not common, because they don't want to be identified as such. So I suggest that you all read up on special education, how to help those kids, what techniques to use, what strategies to use. That's something that I've been doing heavily because I was not prepared this year. So yeah, read up on your special education. On a lighter note, I did not have to pay for anything this year. You know that in the US, we decorate our own classrooms with our own money. We buy books for our classrooms, pens, markers, pencils. I didn't do any of that this year. I think that at the most, I would buy something and I would take the receipt to the accountant and she would reimburse me, but that's about it. There was a bookstore that I was able to go to if I needed more markers or pencils, and there was a limit, of course, and they wrote down my name and I signed everything, but that was me supplying for my classroom, which was amazing. I loved it. Ask if your school has an HOD system. This was a system that was new for me. That HOD just means head of department. I had to turn over my lesson plans to the HODs every week. So above me there was a principal, there was an HOD for science, HOD for math, HOD for social studies, HOD for English. There was an elementary department HOD and the principal. But really there were like 2 elementary department HODs, okay? So that's about 8 people. I'm trying to see if I left anyone out. 8 people that I had to deal with. let's take away the principal and the second elementary HOD. So 6 people that I had to, no, 5 people that I had to email my lesson plans to, but 3 extra that if something went wrong, I had to, you know, deal with all of them. I was really working for all of them. And that was new to me, especially when, honestly, I had only dealt with the principal, the vice principal, team leader. Oh, I had a team leader in the other one. She was really cool though. So like, what was that? 9 people for my school, for my UAE school. So in the US, I had a principal, assistant principal, team leader. But that was just too much. I was struggling to answer to all those people, and with all those people that I'm working for, I got a lot of emails. That's how I missed the email for the Mother's Day, like, wardrobe thing. And now that I know that an HOD system is the standard in the UAE, I'm more prepared, and I want you all to be prepared, because let me tell you, it's a lot. I'm trying to think if there's something else that you need to know when preparing to teach in the UAE. Oh, this goes to the next video where I will be talking about what to pack, but a lot of you have asked about the level of my students. Don't. Don't, because that is just another like stereotypical thing. My kids could have been brainiacs. My kids could have been, you know, on the spectrum. They're still kids. You will get a handful of different types of kids each and every year. So I'm not going to give you any insight on how smart my kids were so that you can say, oh, the Arabic kids are the smartest. It's like, no, that's crazy. Don't ask me that. But I will tell you, some things that you need to prepare for are comprehension strategies, literacy strategies, language, and yeah, anything to do with those. Anything to do with reading and phonics, I would prepare for those heavily. If you are an elementary teacher, come up with some fun ways and games and things to use in the classroom. You could stockpile those from Teachers Pay Teachers. Start you a file now so that you can just pull and go, okay? Because that's what I did a lot this year, and it really helped my kids. Because if you have, like I said, I was teaching from Journey's textbook this year. So it was a lot of writing and fill in the blank, and I wanted them to play games. I feel like games help you, and they did. So now that you know how I got the teaching job in Dubai, and you know what to expect once you get over there to teach, now in my next and final video, I'm going to tell you what to pack. What should you bring as a teacher to the UAE, okay? Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, share with all of your friends, and subscribe to my channel. In this video, I wanted to give you all what you have been asking for. So my next few videos will be a kind of a series of where I prepare you to teach in the UAE. I'm going to be telling you how I am able to teach in the UAE, just the whole process and what you can expect, basically.